Hello! My name is Robert Turk. I am an author and game designer with Wicked Clever, and I create role playing games. This is my latest role playing game. It is a game about cuddly cultists, animal folk in the woods, in a horrible world, and they are trying to help their village and do cozy, cuddly things, but also find a new god in the horrible wood to worship. It's called Our Woodland Gods. That's why we're all wearing bathrobes and comfortable clothes to play this game today. It is a cozy cultist game. This is, however, a GM-less game. It's a guided storytelling experience for 2 to 6 players, where everybody gets to share the spotlight, everybody gets to read from the book, and you pass the book around the table. But there's no master of the game. Everybody gets a chance to interpret things, but normally it's the players that are going to decide what happens, what they do, whether they succeed or fail from the dice rolls, and nobody has to run the game. Since we are playing on Discord, we don't have a book to pass around yet when we're recording this. This is not in print yet. We haven't done the Kickstarter yet. So I will be taking on the role of the reader today. So I am going to read from the book in front of me. The other players are just going to worry about playing their characters, asking questions, rolling the dice. I'm also going to handle the stuff on Roll20, where we've set up cards that we can draw and NPC character sheets and things. But if you were playing the game yourself, I want to make that 100% clear. There's no GM. So while I'm the only one reading today, when you're playing the game, you would pass the book around. Nobody's in total control. And the cool thing about that is the game tells you everything you have to do. You don't have to spend a month beforehand creating an awesome adventure. I did that for you. So, without any further ado, let me go over to our players here. Hey, everybody! Yes. We're going to go around the table and let everybody introduce you and introduce themselves. Say, go ahead and say what your name is, what your character's name is, and maybe give us that sentence off of the character sheet. I am a blank folk, so that means I am whatever you are, and the vocation that you've chosen. Normally in the game, we would make characters together. We would create the world together. We have streamlined that process. We did it off screen, or else this would be a 3-hour video, and I don't want to sit and watch us for 3 hours on YouTube. You all might that are watching this, but we went ahead and cut that part out just to make it easier for everybody. So we're going to jump right in on playing the game after we introduce the character. So we'll start with Shoshi.
Hi everyone, my name is Shoshi. I'm going to be playing Misty. I am an alpaca folk, which means I'm rich. My animal ability is I leave no trace when I walk through the forest. There you are.
And what's your vocation on your character sheet?
Oh, rich person.
Not rich person.
No,
Are you an alchemist,
I
a
don't-
priest, a reaper,
I don't
a seer, or a watcher?
No, I'm joking. A seer.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Paulo.
Right, I'm Paulo Garbanzo, and I am playing Otho of the Otterfoot. And that means I'm distracting. And my animal ability is flint napping, because otters crack rocks. And that's just what I do, man. It's just my thing.
On your belly? You crack rocks on your belly?
Exactly.
All right.
I make the sharpest of axes. And I am a watcher.
All right. Most of the game actually goes counterclockwise around the table, so we'll just continue on clockwise with Louis.
Yes, I am Louis. I am playing Hurdy, a rhinoceros beetle folk, and I am strong. He's a farmer and a reaper. The ability is he digs through, bore, or lifts heavy objects. 800 times my body weight.
Nice. That's like the Hulk.
That's like the Hulk a little bit, but with a horn.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you. And May.
Hey guys, May here. I'm gonna be playing Celine, the snake folk. And she's venomous, which is great because she's an alchemist. And her animal ability is that she can slither into tight spaces.
Awesome. And Cubby.
Hello, I'm Cubby, and I'm going to be playing Jessup. Jessup is a vulture folk, which means he is a friend of death. His animal ability is flight, and he is a reaper.
All right. I'm going to go over the world really quick because I realized I jumped right past that. And when you're playing the game, you'll have a world sheet that has questions that everybody asks and decides on the answers, or you can roll a dice to come up with the answer. So our cult, or your cult, you belong to a woodland cult, originally worshipped the gnarled elder tree in the forest, but heretics came along and murdered your god. So your god is gone. The technology level of your village, I think we decided was Storybook Grimm, so kind of Renaissance-y. Basically, if it was in Mother Goose or Brothers Grimm or Shrek, it is kind of, it fits. Who is in charge of your village? It's a fanatical high cleric. And we mentioned the heretics. There's lots of other woodland animal folk cults out in the Elder Woods. That's normal. You're not going to ever see any of them except for one. There's one really horrible, rotten one that came along and murdered your god, and those are the heretics. They are your village's arch enemies. The heretics are Lovecraftian fish folk. So, kind of like maybe it's a trap guy from Star Wars. I don't know.
Oh no.
Yeah, but more tentacles and things. They worship the wine dark sea. And their false god's domain is the domain of monsters. Probably sea monsters, given everything else. So that's...
Are we talking like Cthulhu level sea monsters?
Oh, yeah,
like...
Cthulhu level sea monsters. And in this world, there are Cthulhu level forest monsters. We call them eldritch beasts that wander around the woods, looking for souls to devour. So that's a thing that y'all are going to have to deal with there. Good luck on that. So here we go. I'm going to read a little bit from the book because that's what would happen in the game. Speaker, read the following aloud. Our woodland god has abandoned us. Our village is decimated and we are running out of time. There are dark, terrible beasts in the woods, older than time itself, and they are hungry for our flesh and our souls. We have all taken a pact to protect the people and find a new god to worship. The woods are thick with small gods, and we can expect to find one at any location we travel to. Though, if it is not the right god for us, only time will tell. We will play through the story of our cultist village over 3 staves. Stave 1, which is what we're playing tonight, will see us out in the nearby woods trying to find a new small god. Stave 2, we will be tasked with tying our new god to the village, either through a festival or through a dark ritual, and Stave 3 will deal with the demands and fallout of our new god. Before we begin Stave 1 of our story, we need to flesh out the wood we live in by adding some unique locations to the map. Our village is here in the center, right where that little blue ping goes. This first zone, which is the white ring right around the village of hexagons, is the safest part of the woods. The next zone out here in the gray, that's the more distant woods, and that is dangerous. At this time, I will deal everyone a card from the deck of Eldritch Ways. So we do have a deck of cards. We're simulating it through Roll20 tonight. Not my favorite way to do it, but that's what we're doing for this. Really, if you are playing this, just use a regular deck of cards, right? People can hold them up to the camera. Works so much better than trying to manipulate cards in a piece of software. But I'm going to start with Shoshi, and what you're going to do with these cards. So Shoshi has a 2. The cards always correspond to runes, Eldritch runes. There's 13 of them. They are on the back of the character sheet, but since nobody can see your character sheet, the runes are birth, clan, death, fire, blood, beast, water, tree, dirt, sun, moon, stars, and void. Oh, thank you, May. Right there on the back of the character sheet. So a 2, which Shoshi has drawn, would correspond to clan. And what we're going to ask you to do here is... And the suits of the cards never matter, all right? We will each use the corresponding rune to influence the sort of place we're putting on the map. It could be something natural, like a crystal clear spring or an oak grove. It could be something a little more mystical, like a mysterious cave or a ring of standing stones. And when you place your thing on the map, your location on the map, you also get to declare one resource or benefit that location can provide to your village. So if you put an oak grove on the map, you may say, oh, it provides us tasty acorns to eat, or firewood from the branches. Crystal Cave might provide a safe place to meditate, and so on. You all can discuss the places that you put on the map, but it's not a group consensus for each place. All right, Shoshi gets to place the first one, and it gets to be what she wants it to be. And you just use the rune here to sort of guide you. So whatever you think of as clan is kind of what you would want.
Is it a 3 or a 2?
I'm sorry, it's a 2, which is birth. It is birth. You're right.
Yeah. So like maybe a new grove of like a new plant life, like clover, like a new little budding field of clover.
All right.
Nice. I do want to open it up. I do want to open it up to discussion. Or do I? Or you said I don't?
You can. Yeah, people can talk about it for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to try and make that.
Does that sound good for birth, everybody?
Is it specifically like growing over like the charred remains of a burned down section of forest?
Ooh, yes. I like that.
And what benefit does it give?
Exactly, yes. What benefit would that newborn clover give us?
Well, as an alpaca, it would provide delicious clover for me. And I suppose other people in the village could take advantage of it as well.
All right. So
I believe clover is eaten by almost all mammals.
And
all grazing mammals.
And there's plenty of flowers,
particularly little lambs.
All right. So Shoshi has put a grove. Okay.
And the flowers will attract insects, which will die, and can be eaten by things that like to eat dead things. Yeah. There, I think everyone's covered.
All right. So that was Shoshi's.
Bugs for the snakes, delicious bugs for the snakes, and mice that will live in the field.
It's like snakes for bugs. All right.
Take the mice.
The mice that eat the clover are eaten by the snakes. I'm with you. All right, so Shoshi's put her location on the map, a grove of delicious clover. We'll go around to Paulo. Paulo, you have a 6, which corresponds to blood.
Okay, so blood. Do we need like a sacrifice?
Cults love sacrifices.
Ooh, like our sacrifice spot.
Yeah, a nice little rock that do the sacrifices.
All right, sacrifice rock,
Yes.
pool of blood.
Altar maybe? Like a natural altar?
Yeah. Also, what sort of benefit does every one of these? Do all the runes that we're drawing out with the cards, each one of us has a benefit as well. So we're going to get 5 benefits set up on the map.
Yeah. Yep.
Cool.
All right.
So, I mean, Paulo's benefit that he put there was a pool of blood. That's the benefit. Is that really beneficial to you? I don't know, but it's there.
All right.
No, I don't think it was a pool of blood. It was like our sacrifice area.
Is it not a pool of blood?
Oh, I was hoping that it could be our sacrificial area.
Yeah,
yeah. You know.
Yeah, a good benefit of that is it means your food and groundwater isn't contaminated.
Yes.
It's also, sometimes of great benefit to have a heap of bodies just decomposing for some of us.
Yeah.
All my fungus friends will love it.
Well, and your vulture people.
Oh my goodness. Vulture buddy, let's go digging.
All right, so Jack is son, Louis. That's your rune, is sun for a place on the map?
Sun, how about a cleared area of the forest where the sunlight can come, tan hides, bake, and kind of where the deer can come frolicking. And also, it's a good place to lure somebody for an ambush.
Yes.
It's an adorable place.
An adorable Bambi-esque land that the sunbeams just kind of penetrate into. Glorious mornings that also ambush.
Yes. So a sunny clearing where you can tan hides, bake, ambush. Got it.
The perfect
Solar
local
ovens.
zone.
The old kill zone.
That's the kill zone on the map. All right. May also has a 2. So that would be birth again.
I would love to provide a space where small woodland creatures can gather and forage and just live out their short lives.
Okay. So
Like a lovely nesting area for them to build
Nesting
their
area.
growing families.
Yeah.
Particularly rabbits, mice.
oh my goodness. So I think it behooves us to pause for just a second and let our viewers as well as our players know. While our players are animal folk, which is kind of like animal people, and humans don't exist. This is the time before humans. There are actual animals in the woods that are not animal folk. All right, they're animals, and they serve the same purposes that animals do in our world. They are pets, they are pests, they are predators, or they are prey. So, eating animals, if you decide that you are a non-vegetarian sort of animal folk, you have animals to eat. You don't have to resort to cannibalism and eat each other. But yes, a nesting area for small creatures.
A hunting ground.
Yes.
Yes.
I was gonna keep it cute and just call it a nesting area.
Nesting area. Yes.
But wink, wink. We know.
We'll put wink,
No,
wink.
We
That's
call it the
Yeah.
nursery.
the nursery. Yeah, we're gonna.
Necessary.
I just put wink, wink on the map. We all know what's going on there. Yes. Thank you, May, the snake folk. All right, and last but not least, Cubby gets a 4, and a 4 is death.
Ah,
Ooh,
you
nice.
perfect.
Perfect.
How lovely.
A lovely place of death.
I would. I think that there is a great beast graveyard
Oh, yes.
where large animals know to die in,
Wow.
and this offers us the remains of the great beast, as well as a source of carrion, and the proximity to such a revered place gives us kind of an aura of protection from them. They wouldn't visit violence so close to a place like that.
You would hope they wouldn't.
You would hope.
You would hope.
Yeah.
The cards may choose otherwise for you. But yes, the intent is there. A beast graveyard. I like that. Okay, so you all have defined the local woods outside your village. We don't define the second ring. You don't do that until the second stave. And that was the map. So the other thing we got going on here, and the gloaming pool down here at the bottom. Gloaming is basically your protection as you go out into the woods, and it protects your village from the horrible eldritch beasts that roam around trying to eat your souls. Actually, I wrote something about this that you would read aloud, so let me read that aloud. This down here is a gloam token. It represents the power our cult's god has to shield us from the horrors of the wood. But we don't have a god right now, and that protection is fading fast. During the game, we will take consequences for our failed actions. One of these consequences is to make noise or draw attention to ourselves. which can remove a gloaming token from the pool. We get rid of one of those. Every time we do so, there's a possibility that an eldritch beast will find us, and it is in our best interest to find a new woodland god before the eldritch beast find us. All right. And then, I already mentioned this, but the single villager token, this single token represents the strength of our village. Clearly, it's not in good shape right now. We will be able to add tokens to this pool, but if it ever runs out, the village is gone. You haven't, per se, lost the game, but you've lost what you were fighting for. And up here at the top, these tokens represent the heretics village. They assume we've all been wiped out and won't come poking around. However, the village can grow strong enough that the heretics choose to raid it. At this point, the speaker would pass the book to the, and it says so right there, pass the book to your player on your right, turn to page XX, and the next person reads aloud. So that next person is still going to be me, because I can't just pass the book over and probably pick it up from the screen. That would have taken way too much planning. So I will continue as our speaker. We begin and end every stave with a community phase, which will give us a chance to start increasing the strength of the village and acquire some more gloaming tokens. But there are a lot of community tasks that the villagers need done. I'm now going to deal everybody another card. We will consult the rune responsibility chart to see what tasks need doing for this stave. As a group, you are going to pick 2 of these tasks, because there's 5 players. If there were less than 5 players, it would only be 1 task. So there's 5 or more, you pick 2 tasks. These are the tasks that your pact must complete while out in the woods. If you don't complete these tasks by the end of the stave, it will hurt you and your village. The rest of the tasks that are drawn that you do not choose will be worked on by the villagers themselves. You can help complete those and get bonuses, but you don't have to do them. All right, so, and I'll just deal the cards like the players are on the screen so we can see them all at once. If I can fit them all on here. All right, normally you'd pass them around the table, right? Everybody would look at their card. They would check the back of the book, and let's see what we've got. Okay, we actually have 2 aces on there, which are Void, which the Void rune for cult responsibilities is closet cleaning. The villagers are cleaning out their closets and sweeping up the cobwebs. They need you to take their stuff and dispose of it so that they don't lead things back to your village. So the aces are cleaning up the trash, essentially. Getting it out of the village and burying it or getting rid of it so that there's no signs leading back to your village. A king is stars. The task for that is catching fireflies. You can use them for so many different things. To complete this, you want to make or acquire containers to hold the little bugs and start catching them. All these village tasks are pretty cozy, happy sort of things. This is the happy, cozy stage of the game where you get to do nice things. 3 is clan. The task there is wedding day. Gather or make gifts to help the happy couple start their life together. And the 7 is beast. A parade of animals. Everyone in the village needs a new costume and a mask for this festive party. Find 3 interesting things to complete this task. All right, so you've got basically cleaning garbage duty, you've got catching fireflies, you've got wedding gifts, you've got the parade of animal costumes. So 2 of those you all are going to take on and have to complete. Any thoughts on what you want to do?
I would like.
Oh, sorry.
Are we going around in a circle, or?
I didn't know how.
Go ahead, talk over each other. I don't care.
All at once, I said.
I was
1,
thinking
2,
that
3.
I
Animal
think that we
Well, so
should
I
catch
think-
fireflies.
All right, well, the only one that got through there was Louis saying he thought we should catch fireflies.
Well, I was thinking that we dump all the trash in the death pit and then pick up some bones to make masks. 2 birds with stone.
Nice.
Some of us don't really fancy putting bones on our faces. Some of us had other ideas for what we wanted to make our masks for the party out of.
Well, I mean, if you're
Also,
not
you
using
can't
bones, then what?
you can't
It'll
put
be
regular trash in a death pit. That's disrespectful.
That is a little sacrilegious.
Like there's a lot of rituals that are observed with the care and feeding of death pits.
Fine.
This is what I do for our village, and I take it very seriously.
You should.
I would second the firefly catching, though, if anyone else agrees with that.
I can catch fireflies.
I mean, that's a
I mean-
pretty easy one. You can kind of complete that anywhere.
Yeah.
So I think that would be, as the person that created this game, that's kind of a gimme. That one, I would pick that one if I were playing with you.
It just sounded fun to me.
I know it is fun catching fireflies. All right, so that one goes up, and what is the other one? It seemed like there was some support for creating parade animal masks.
Well, I mean, if we're playing pretend, the most fun I can have is pretending to make costumes.
There you go.
That's like all I ever did in World of Warcraft.
All right.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
All right, so we'll go with those two. Those are your responsibilities. And then I'm going to slide these down here on the very bottom. So garbage, you're going to let the other villagers deal with their own garbage. That sounds fair. And whoever's getting married, you know, whatever. Maybe you didn't like them. I don't know. But other people can make
Didn't really
gifts
know
for them. Yeah, they're
Yes.
yeah. It's like why do they get the gifts? They get bliss, the partnership, all that. You
Aren't
should
our
get...
costumes going to be a gift enough at their wedding?
There you go.
I really care more for
Really?
funerary.
Etiquette says you have up to a year to gift for a wedding. So
There you go. There is that. All right.
Done.
Reading on. And just like I did right here, after the group has chosen their tasks, put the ones that the group is going to do above the map, and the ones that the village is going to do below the map to kind of keep them straight. We'll use tokens through the game to put on these so we know like how far along we are on them. And you'll see we use tokens for all sorts of stuff in this game. And I will continue reading. Now that we know the responsibilities of our first stave, we each get to create a villager NPC and narrate an interaction with them to help flesh them out. Later interactions with villagers will define them in more detail and strengthen our village as whole. You can either right now choose to interact with a villager to aid them with one of the responsibilities on the bottom of the map, so the wedding gifts or the garbage. Though it does take 3 people helping with any one task to complete it at this point. Okay? So you maybe don't want to spread your points out and everybody help with one thing, because that doesn't get you progress towards having it done. Or you can use a villager to help you increase your gloaming pool, perhaps through a ritual or preparing disguises or something to help you safely travel through the woods. In later community phases, there are more options, like healing, but nobody's taken any damage, nobody's broken any items. So the only 2 things you can do on the very first one are working on those village tasks, the one down at the bottom, or helping build up the gloaming pool. And each player, when they are going to define for one NPC, and again, you get to define it, it's not a group agreeing to this, for your NPC, you want to give them a name, give them an animal folk type, like what kind of animal folk are they, and what their occupation is. And then you get to narrate sort of how you interact with them and what you all are doing that helps you. All right? Does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Who wants to go first? Cubby.
I could go first because I would like to add to our gloaming pool. I go to my friend Philippe the Hedgehog Baker, and he actually has some really wonderful biscuits that will help dampen our scent a little. So if we each eat one, it will be harder to spot, which will help all of us except for Misty, who walks through the forest without disturbing leaves.
Yes.
All right. So yeah, you go to Philippe the Hedgehog Baker, and he helps disguise your scent, and that adds a token to your gloaming pool. There you go. That's exactly how this is supposed to work. So who wants to go next? Who has an idea of an NPC? Go ahead,
I do.
Paulo.
So my friend Thistle of the Beaver Folk, Potter, and he can make us some little clay pots that we can.
Nope, we lost you again.
Ah,
I
he's
think he wanted to make clay pots to catch the fireflies in.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, okay. You can't work on the firefly one right now. You have to do
We
that
gotta
out
work
in the
on the
woods.
3 lower village ones, I believe.
Yep, you gotta
Well,
work
then
on the
we can
3 at the
make
bottom.
Gifts, really nice coffee mugs
Yeah,
for
There
the
we go.
entire wedding party.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yes, matching.
For exposure.
There you go.
Oh
All
my
right.
God.
Yeah, that's a good one. Work on the wedding gifts. So we've put a token down there on wedding gifts. Once you get 3 tokens, that task is complete. And we've added Thistle, the Beaver Folk Potter. And in using Roll20, I'm just making these as handouts, changing the name of the handout. The next time you interact with an NPC, and this is not Paulo's NPC, anybody could choose to interact with this NPC in later community phases, and they will add more details to it. And once an NPC has been interacted with 3 times, they basically evolve, level up, whatever you want to call it, and add a point to your village pool. You have strengthened your village by fully fleshing out the NPCs that live there. But everybody's making a new one to start with. So, who
That's
wants
fun.
to go next? We got Louis, Shoshi, or May. Go ahead, Louis.
I'll go. I have Grimalin, who is a good buddy dung beetle. And this dung beetle helps roll up trash, and I can dig holes as this dung beetle rolls up trash. So together we can hold and bury in our landfill
Yes.
some of the trash.
All right. So you're working on one of the trash tasks there.
Yes, yes.
All right. Yes. Does this dung beetle have a voice, Louis? Do you do voices for them? As I put you on this.
Right now, I guess I'll roll it where you want.
Nice. All right. Shoshi or May? Shoshi?
Or you?
Trying to see, I can't see the whole screen, so I'm trying to figure out which tasks have tokens because I can only see like the top of the cards.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out which one I want to.
yeah. Move them up like that.
I'll make them
You
bigger.
can see them a little more.
So, garbage has 1 token, and wedding gifts has 1 token.
Okay. Did you want to go ahead and go, Shoshi, or?
Oh, sure. What's the third task?
Garbage.
No, so there's garbage, wedding
I
presents.
think there might have been 2 garbage.
There's lots of garbage. Yeah, you got double garbage.
Oh no, but one is the villagers' garbage, and the other one is a different kind of garbage, right?
Nope, they're both villagers' garbage. Y'all aren't worried about garbage out in the woods. So you all are doing fireflies and animal costumes out in the woods.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so they got a lot of garbage. Do not spread between the 2 garbage tasks. It's going to get you nothing. So focus on the 1 garbage
Yeah.
task.
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
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 Okay. That makes sense. Yes. I, as is my way. I'd like to go to my father. And see what he can do about this garbage problem. He is his name is Mossy. He's also an alpaca folk. He is a fabric merchant. We know cloth. And yeah, that's all you need right now, right? For the first
Correct.
time.
Yeah. How is
Okay.
he helping you deal with the garbage, though?
Great question. He owns many ships from his fabric merchant business. So he's willing to lend one of his smaller boats if we can pile the garbage on that and we can sail it away to somewhere else. So he's going to lend a small boat.
Okay. I love it. I do want to clarify for our viewing audience, the game is Our Woodland Gods, and we have a village in the middle of a great giant eldritch forest. But we also have rivers with boats. Yeah, right? That's
Yes.
I just didn't want
Yes.
anybody thinking, oh, well, now we're suddenly on the seashore. Nope.
No,
that's,
no.
That's where the bad guys are.
No, we're near, but we do need water to live.
We do need water to
Yeah.
live. You are
The
correct.
mills run with the river.
Yes, the river.
the
A river runs
trade.
through it. Here, I'm gonna.
Oh my goodness.
Here. Fwa. I just put a river on our map.
River runs right through it. I see it.
Oh,
Yeah.
like literally.
I literally just did it. It's there. Yes, so that's 2 on garbage. Thank you, Shoshi.
Okay.
Awesome. And May. That leaves May. You
I
could
feel
actually
like-
go ahead. You could finish the garbage task if you want, and it's done.
Well, I already had somebody in mind, but now I'm second guessing the wedding task because I'm being selfish with this person.
Oh, okay.
Before I continue, are we allowed to have bee folk?
Yes, the only folk you cannot have in your village are the
Okay.
Lovecraftian fish folk.
Fish,
Anything
okay,
else
I
is fair game.
Okay, so I want to chat with my fellow herbalist, who I get a lot of my flowers and bits and stuff from. And her name is Bobby the Bee Folk. And it's Bobby with an I. And she's going to gather all the flowers for the wedding for centerpieces. And what do you call those little things?
Yes.
I didn't do it for my wedding. The things you give to people to take away.
Sachets.
Favors. There you
Favors.
go. They're gonna be
Favors, sachets.
little favors because you got all that expensive food, so you don't need a favor. But she's making favors for people to take back for the wedding.
Little corsages and
Yes.
yes.
Little
Great.
centerpieces and
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, yeah. So
Bobby.
at this point, you have fleshed out your village. You've created 5 NPCs that live there and interacted with them to help you with some of the tasks. Now, we're going to head out into the woods to find a new woodland god to worship. Remember that you are seeking a small god or spirit, and our woods are full of them. Every location on the map does have a god that you could choose to worship. You just have to find it and then see if it is a good fit for our village. You also need to handle the assigned cult responsibilities, catching fireflies and doing costumes for the Parade of Beasts. And you could choose to work more on the wedding gifts or the garbage task, because if you don't get at least another token on these, you don't get anything from them. But you don't have to do those bottom 2. So if you don't do the bottom 2, it's not going to hurt you, but you could take advantage of what's been put into them. Each location we go to is a new scene and will consist of exactly 3 rounds. Every time we travel to the woods, except when you return home to the village, we must remove a gloaming token from the pool and see if an eldritch beast picks up our scent. So as a group, where would you like to go first?
I know a good place to find a woodland god.
Go on, Jessup. Where?
We should go to the beast graveyard. That is where we will find the wisest god.
It's just so spooky there.
And it smells.
It does
I hear
smell.
gods
You're
love
right. It
that.
does smell.
It's
like
true. There
there's
are
a little
good
bug
points
out.
and bad points to going there.
All right. Fair enough.
I'm just gonna do whatever the group does. So
Oh, Misty.
That's me.
Well, then I think we should go to the beast graveyard.
All right. That's where we're going, Beast Graveyard?
Sounds good.
Okay. So, at this point, we would pass the book to the next speaker. That's still me, because that's how we're playing this game. And the very first location, the very first instruction is speaker. Remove a gloam token from the pool to account for traveling to the chosen location, and place it on the location where you're going. So we just slide it from there to there. Draw a card. If it is a face card, no, thank goodness, an Eldritch Beast has not found us. So, you don't have to worry about that, okay?
Ooh.
All right. Then, draw another card. This card would normally be secret. It would just be the person that is the Speaker of the Woods at the time, a Speaker of the Lore at the time, would look at this, but I don't really have any good way to draw a secret card, so we all get to see it.
All right.
Oh, okay. And then I sort of describe where we are. Whoever would be the speaker at this point would describe where you are. So, you travel to the beast graveyard, right? Which is huge bones coming out of the forest and the remains of large caribou and whales and other forest creatures that are just here sort of decomposing and rich loamy soil and this horrible smell, and the trees have actually grown up around some of these bones that have been here so long. Like if you see a tree grow up around a fence post that's been in a field forever, the bones are kind of the same way. So the trees are growing up and twisting them, and sometimes that raises the bones out, so you'll have bones sticking out up in the trees. The other thing is, based on the card that I drew, the Horrors of the Woods card, and you'll draw one of these every time you go to a location that tells you what horrible bad thing is also in the location you're going to, because we're not in the cozy village phase of the game anymore. We're in the horrible, scary woodland phase of the game. Beasts. Rabid beasts, which makes total sense. They're here like hyenas, forest hyenas. What are wolves? Wolves are forest hyenas. Yes.
I was like, what country are we in?
Right.
Yeah.
Wolves and angry cats and things and possums and raccoons, like scavengers, but not animal folk. Like that would just be weird if they were crawling around ripping the rotting carcasses apart. But actual animals are sort of skulking and stalking through here. The first time anybody chooses noise as a consequence, the rabid beast folk are going to notice you and attack. So you kind of want to be sneaky here and not draw attention from the rabid animals that are here to dine. Now I read the next part aloud. Every scene consists of exactly 3 rounds. We are limited to our own single test and mechanical effect for each round, but unlike other games, this is not necessarily a single action. So it's not going to be like, I swing to hit that one animal. That's not the way this game works. You can describe going from tree to tree, trying to catch fireflies. And any success that you get will put a token on the card. It gets you a third of the way towards completing that task. You could describe setting up candles and stones to try and communicate with the small woodland god of this area. And a success will get you a third of the way towards completing that task. More than one of us can do the same thing, and it might be wise to do that to ensure you have a better chance of success. You can also choose to help each other out by providing teamwork. And you won't roll any dice if you do that, but you will pass a die to the player who is going to take the test. Everybody describes what they want to do first, then everybody rolls at the same time to see how successful we are. Then we wrap up the first round, taking turns describing our action and the results of said actions. As players, you are responsible for interpreting the success or failures of our rolls and reflecting that both mechanically on your character sheet and in the narrative. Since it's the first time we're doing this, we're going to walk it through step by step, reading exactly from the book, so nobody freak out. The book takes you through all of this. So, who knows what they want to do first? This should be a single sentence. Like, go ahead, Paulo.
I would like bone and my flint knapping skills, maybe them out form, but like a fun altar. You know, so like there's little places to go for run around and so a nice altar. So, you know, like death, but we also want to have fun. So
Yeah.
All
that's
right.
the kind of god I'm trying to find.
All right. So
Yeah.
you're gonna nap the bones and gathering them up into a fun altar to try and commune with the gods.
Yes.
Okay.
Very, and you know, try to build like a sculpture. Which the
All right. Okay. Who else?
Looking good.
So, is this the time that I use my alchemist ability for producing, or is that different?
You can use your alchemist ability here if you would like to.
Okay.
What the alchemist ability does is it gives you an automatic success towards any of the tasks.
Okay.
So, and I will say, folks, while we're recording this game is still actually in playtest, so that might change. But read the book in front of you to know what the alchemist ability does when it's all said and done.
Okay, cool. Because like for this one, it says I can produce a potion.
Yes, so you create a potion, and that potion could be like you create a glue, and the glue could help with Paulo's putting his thing together to hold the bones in place. Or your potion could be a smoke bomb, or your potion could be it could be really anything you want, but it's gonna add an automatic 1 token to any of these tasks. So you won't have to roll the dice and risk taking a consequence. You can just use a potion to do a thing.
Cool. So if that's the case, I would like to know if a Molotov cocktail counts as a potion.
Yes, sure.
Okay.
I mean, there's no GM, so if you say it counts as a potion, it counts as a potion, May.
I'm so used to like, dear GM. Okay, so if that's the
Dear
case,
GM.
I'm worried about safety, and I would like to make with my alchemist kit a Molotov cocktail.
Okay.
Nice.
And there is no GM here, but I'm going to ask, as if I were a fellow player, is your idea here so that you've got it to throw at the animals if they attack?
Yes.
Okay. So, make your potion, but then work on one of the tasks in front of you, because they haven't noticed you yet.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because I didn't know if it counted as my thing, or
it doesn't have to. It doesn't have
that's
to.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Okay, cool.
All right.
So, all right, so if I'm going to help to find this god, and you're building the altar, right, Paulo? Okay, so I'm going to do, like, the temple thing and start, like, foraging for different herbs and stuff to light, like, an censer to, like, start burning. And
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Appealing sacrifices
Good,
of the plant
Celine.
nature.
Yes.
Yes, the gods love those smells.
All right. What is everybody else doing? So we got 2 people working on the altar. 2 people working on finding a new god here. Go ahead, Louis.
I'll go. During this phase, you said we are now allowed to also work on the other village steps, or no?
You
The
are.
village?
It is more
Yes.
important to work on the 2 that you must complete.
Okay, great. So the how many tokens down at the bottom to complete one of them?
3. So
Okay.
you could complete one of those and say, you know what, I got 2 more rounds in this scene to work on the other stuff. That's totally fine.
And that and again, just so we know that would then add that glowing token back to our glowing pool.
All right. So when you complete one of the tasks at the bottom, a community village task, that will add a point to your village pool. All right. So getting 3 of those turns it into 1 point of the village pool. Now, completing this, if you'd completed one in the village, that would have immediately added the point to the village pool. When you're out in the woods, you've actually got to make it back before that point gets added. Because things could happen that totally erase these or kill you all and you're devoured by a beast, and then you don't come back with the things that you had worked on out there. So
Well, group of fellow cultists, should I continue some of our village work, or do you need help building the altar right now? It seems like you're moving along.
I think the faster that we get
Yeah.
one task done, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then I will help in building the altar, of course.
Okay.
I'll help.
All right.
Herdes begins to gather up earth around the altar area to kind of start to mound it up. And as Herdy is like pushing some of the bones and the relics, can somewhat unearth some of the more eldritch powers of the past bones, kind of unearth some of the deeper bones to bring them up to the surface. We can use their magical strength some.
Nice.
While also, Jessup, not disturbing the ancient god slumber.
We'll see. All right.
I don't want to mess up the graveyard.
A fine balance.
Right.
Or
Well,
fine balance.
the dice will determine whether you end up messing up the graveyard, Louis.
All right.
You can want to not to do it, but all right.
Why not?
Cubby or Shoshi, what are you working on?
Would love to catch some fireflies.
All right. Shoshi's working on catching
Yeah.
fireflies, and Cubby.
I am going to aid Paulo, giving him an extra die.
Okay.
Nice.
All right, so you're going to do teamwork over to Paulo. Okay, I lost my page. All right, so everybody knows what they're doing. We all know what everybody's doing. Everybody, all right, we will each roll the dice to see how we do. Everybody starts with a single 6-sided die. All right, so you got one die. If your animal ability or affinity helps with what you're doing, you add another die. All right. So Paulo, I see you've picked up another die. So just tell everybody what ability helps with that.
So I am a flint napper, so I not only have sharpened tools, but I'm also very good at making the cuts and slices in those bones to help build a structurally sound altar entirely out of bone.
There you go. Yeah. So that's exactly how that works. Louis, did you also grab another die?
I did.
May?
I think Herdy is using its rhinoceros beetle horn to really get under and pull up some stuff that then Paulo can use and we can build for the altar, like unearthing some good deep bones.
All right. And May?
I'm going to be using my knowledge as an alchemist and to help pick the best herbs that she would know would be like an offering to the gods.
All right.
Ooh, yeah.
Now, and this is not to pick on May, because actually I should have said it on Louis as well.
Oh.
So this is specifically from your character sheet, where it says adjective or animal ability, if those things help. So
It's a
I am
spin on 'em.
strong.
So yes,
Animal ability. Yeah.
yeah. So I am strong. So that will help me dig up the dirt.
I am
You-
strong and my animal ability is lift or bore.
There you go. Yeah. So
Okay, I'm gonna make a reach then.
okay.
Because I can slither
Okay.
into tight spaces, I'm going to go into those deeply rooted bushes and trees and just slide up in there and see what could be hidden that I may not see right away.
There you go. That's exactly how you use this.
Perfect.
Yes. Yeah. So you got to take the thing from your character sheet and apply it to what you're doing. If an item helps you with what you're doing, and now these are the items that the players have on their character sheet. Every character has defined an article of clothing, a weapon that they carry, and a personal item that they carry with them. Yes. So those are your fingers, Louis. But thank you. So Louis's got a bandolier, a pickaxe, and a pouch of fungus on his character sheet. If one of those items
I see
helps
'em.
you with the task that you're doing, you can pick up another die. You will only ever get 3 die to roll unless the priest is using their special power to help you. They can push you to 4 die. Cubby is passing a die to Paulo, so Paulo will get that die as well. If you choose to assist another player, you should pass them a die to roll. And you can also always choose to draw a card from the deck of Eldritch Ways. And that will give you an extra die to roll. However, that card is going to have a mandate that you must agree to in order to gain the bonus. Does anybody want to draw a card? Not at this point. It doesn't look like anybody is enthusiastically saying, give me a card. All right.
I do have a question
Soon
now.
now.
Yes.
So, as my weapon, I do have a stone axe. Now, I'm already using the flint napping skill, right? So does it add on? I mean, technically, I would probably be using, but you can only get 3 dice to begin with. If I'm not technically using it in the die roll, and I'm taking Cubby's die as my third die, then if something bad happens, can I throw that damage to the axe or no? Considering that I
Yes. You could absolutely,
Okay.
you could throw the damage to any of your things. And as part of teamwork, if you fail and have to take 2 consequences, you can throw one of them at Cubby.
Oh, great.
So, yeah. So, because he's
Right.
helping, helping, you can spread that consequence out. You always have to take one. We're getting slightly ahead of ourselves. That's going to be the next step. So,
right.
Shoshi, do you know what dice you're rolling?
Yes, I'm rolling 2 die.
Okay.
Because my animal ability is leave no trace.
Okay.
So the alpacas have soft little pads, and they don't even disturb the mosses underneath them. So I can be very quiet and sneak up on the fireflies, and they're not going to run away from me because they don't move them.
Wonderful. And you've only got 2 dice. Do you want a card?
Oh, you know what? Actually, I think I can use one of my items to give me a third one. Now that I look at it, one of my items is a basket of grapes. Just that I carry. I like to snack on them. They're delicious. But also, if I set those down, it's going to attract other insects, which I think will bring more fireflies there as well.
There you go. All right. Everybody knows what dice they're rolling. You're going to go ahead and roll your die. That's why we roll physical dice on this, because you can hear them, and it's awesome, instead of roll 20.
My highest die was a 5.
All right, so everybody look at the dice you rolled and find the one with the highest value. This is the only dice you need to deal with. Did anybody roll a 6?
Yes.
Yes.
6, 5, 4.
All right, so if you rolled a 6, you have succeeded fully at your task, and there is no drawback. Did anybody roll more than 1 6? No. If you had 2 6s, that would count as 2 successes. So, Louis, you were working on
Boring up some good bones and good artifacts from the graveyard for Otho to put together.
Yes. All right. So we're just going to go ahead and mark that one. Grab it from over here. That you have achieved a success. And I'm going to do that right now so we don't forget about it. And then you can narrate that when we all narrate together. Okay. So that was all the 6s, right? Nobody else got a 6? Did anybody get a 3, a 4, or a 5 as their highest value? Okay, great. That's everybody else. Did anybody get doubles? 5s, double 4s, or double 3s? What'd you get, May?
Double 5s.
Oh, you got double 5s. Okay, you only ever count your highest die. So if you had a 5 and 2 3s, you wouldn't count the double 3s, but you can count the double 5s. Okay.
Oh, okay.
If you rolled a 3 or 4 or a 5, you succeed, but at a cost. You must take 1 consequence from the list. And the consequences are... All right, so all of you that rolled a 5 are going to have to take a consequence. Because May rolled doubles, May can choose to take 2 successes, count both of those 5s as a success, but May would also then have to take 2 consequences. So you you don't need to do that, actually, looking at the numbers, so I wouldn't do that. But if you rolled a 5, a 4, or a 3, you succeed, but you are going to take a consequence. So those consequences that you can take damage, which means you mark a condition on your character sheet to body, mind, or heart, or you can break one of the items you're carrying. If an item is broken, you can't use it anymore to give you a bonus, right? You can choose to make noise. When you make noise, you've drawn attention. However, because of the card we drew, the Horrors of the Woods, that also means the little rabbit animals are going to attack you, and that's going to make things worse if you choose to take noise, right? Or you can take a point of heresy. You have lost faith or somehow transgressed against the woodland gods as a whole. You don't have a god right now, so it's not like personally pissing off your god. It's kind of transgressing against all the woodland gods. and then you would mark a point of heresy. So each of you needs to decide what consequence you're taking and mark that on your sheet. Go ahead.
Okay, so like if you take a point of heresy, what's the like effect towards you
That's up
from these? Like, why do I keep asking you? Okay,
That's up to you. That's up to you, May. If you want to feel bad about it, feel bad about it.
I'm so used to having DM guided.
I know, and that's
Right? Yeah.
it is a little bit strange to break out of that asking for permission, especially with me sitting here as the reader. But
Yes.
in the game, you'd be asking your fellow players if it's okay, and yes, it's okay. It's all right. We don't have to ask permission to play this game. You might have to ask for forgiveness if you play this game, but you don't have to ask for permission, right? All right. So, so that's, you get to interpret these however you want. Like, if Paulo decided he was going to inflict the body condition, I don't know what he took. He can tell us in a minute. He could describe that however he wants. Maybe he stubbed his toe. Maybe he broke his arm. Maybe he chopped his whole arm off. It doesn't matter. It's Paulo's character. It's Paulo's part of the story. He gets to decide that. All right. So now everyone gets a turn. I'll go back to reading from the book. That's my job, Robert. You're the reader. Now everyone gets a turn to narrate what their character did and what happened as a result of that action. If you succeeded, what does that success look like? If you failed, how does the consequence happen? And you all did earn enough to find a small woodland god, and you were actually working on fireflies, right? And you got a success on fireflies, Shoshi. So there's so I've put all the tokens everywhere they're supposed to go.
With consequences, though, right?
You still have to take a consequence, yes.
Okay.
So who wants to narrate that? I say you always start with the success to narrate first,
all right,
because that kind of sets the tone, and you let the failures go last, because they failed, and see how everything else shakes out. So go ahead, Louis.
Herdy's rhinoceros beetle horn digs deep into the floor of our ancient cemetery, and at first it doesn't seem like they're making any movement. It just seems like they're just head into the dirt, but then suddenly bursting up under the horn and coming up are two long giraffe bones that are there, just kind of coming up. An ancient god from days of the savannah that used to be upon these lands. And we all kind of look in wonder and awe as these get passed over to Otho with a nod to Jessup for bringing us to this great ancient graveyard. This is surely bones that will bring an elder god to our attention.
All right. And then whoever wants to go next. Normally we'd go probably around the table from the six. But we can do that. Actually, around the table to the right. So that would be Paulo. Paulo just got handed bones. He picks up the narrative and keeps it going.
Wonderful. These bones are so big, actually, as like I can make like a little A-frame sort of thing. And with Jessup's help, actually what I'm going to do is my leather bandolier is just enough to cut into strips and actually use to tie these gigantic bones together. So I've essentially destroyed my leather bandolier, and it has become part of the altar now. But it was necessary to build what I had in my mind as the best bone altar that we could make. And thanks to everyone's help, it's come to fruition.
Yes, and your consequence then was that you damaged your bandolier item.
Yeah, I had to strip it down for parts.
Yeah, I love it.
Right.
All right, Shoshi.
So the putting out the grapes to bring other animals out to attract the fireflies was a great idea. Unfortunately, it did mean the grapes had to be eaten and infested by many of the insects in the woods. So I'm just gonna leave it there. They can finish it off. I've got so many other baskets.
Wonderful.
Your family has baskets for days.
Truly.
We know fabric.
Right. Yes, and Cuppy, you still get to narrate, even though all you did was pass the dice. So you still get to be part of the story.
And I helped. There was one moment where before Otho had the idea of using the bandolier to hold the giraffe bones together, where the bones were slipping and were about to fall, which was very disrespectful, but I was able to swoop in and catch them and hand them to Otho, who then had broken apart the bandolier and created a beautiful, beautiful altar for our future god.
Love it. And then May gets to wrap it up.
So Celine is tromping through this wooded, densely wooded area, and even though she finds the proper herbs and the like, she has completely shredded her alchemist robes, leaving her in her normal, everyday, mundane clothes that are now not protected from any alchemical things she may be doing.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
Nice.
wonderful. That we wrapped up the end of round 1. We put a token to mark that we finished round 1 there, and reading right through the instructions here, if the group has achieved 3 or more successes to uncover a small god of this location, turn to "You found a god! Yay!" and pass the book to the player on your right. They're the new speaker. I pass it to myself, and yay! Speaker, draw 2 cards from the deck, 1 face up and 1 face down. I didn't set this up so we could do a face down card, so I'm going to draw the 1 card, and then I am going to... I think I can deal myself a card. You know what? I'll just draw the card later. Normally you would place 1 card down on the table right now and keep it hidden. You know what?
You could draw a real card.
I could draw a real card because we're not going to get to...
Also, that was great that we all told a small scene together, and it was all put together with a little bit of dice and imagination, and we built upon each other's idea. That was neat.
That was
neat
right?
to see it come out.
Fun.
That was wonderful. And
Yeah,
you
let's
didn't
not-
need a
let's-
dungeon master to give you permission to do that. Yes. So thank you, Louis. That is the joy of this game. We got to it an hour into the recording. Woohoo! Hopefully you hung out long enough to see the magic happen. All right, so Ace is... I checked one thing here. Is this rune match the Heretics rune? I forgot to write down the Heretics rune. It's Monster, which is not Ice. That's Beast, 7. So this one is okay. It's not a heretic god. If you had found a heretic god here, you would have to get rid of that small god so the heretics can't use it. And that would totally derail your stave 1. You're in luck. It's not the heretics god hanging out here. So you can try and court this god. The face down card tells us what that god's tenet is, and you don't know that information yet. So if the card drawn is not the heretics card, and there are rounds left in the scene, which there's 2. Read the following aloud. We have discovered a small god and are pretty certain it is not heretical to our village, as it belongs to the domain of Void. It's a god of the Void. We could choose it as our new woodland god just based on its domain, but since we have the time, we should probably attempt to attune to it and uncover its core tenet before we choose. Attuning to the small god is just like any other task and will take a total of 3 successes. You can also spend time working on the village tasks that remain, either the ones on the top or the ones on the bottom. The garbage and the wedding gifts each have 2. I know I slid them down beyond what you can see. Fireflies up top has 1. You gotta finish that Fireflies, and you have to finish the beast, the costumes. And you have 2 more rounds here. So we go back into the same as we did for round 1. Players each declare briefly what they're going to do. Then you roll the dice, everybody at the same time, and then everybody gets to narrate around the circle, starting with anybody that got a 6. So who knows what they want to do first? The things before you are attuning to the small god, working on the garbage, working on the fireflies, working on the parade costumes, and something for a wedding gift.
All right, but we need to do the costumes.
You need to
Right.
do the costumes and the fireflies. Yep.
Well, I'd like to keep working on the fireflies. I seem to be doing very well.
There you go.
with that.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's nice when I can do something to help the community.
Whew.
To give back.
I'm going to. I mean, the costumes were my idea, so I feel like I should get some points into that.
Yep. Okay. Bless you.
I think it's since we stared into the void and the void stared back. I would like to help attune to said god while others work
Nice.
on shenanigans.
Yep. Okay.
I would like to take some of those herbs that May got, and which now, of course, many of them hang in a nice elk antler bowl that hovers over the altar, tied by leather straps. But I'm like, I think I'd like to repurpose some of them, and I'm still going with my idea of bone masks. Because it's party time. Come on. So I'm gonna work on the costumes.
On the costumes.
Okay. Not where I thought you were going, but awesome. Going into the costumes. All right. And Louis. That leaves Louis.
I will help with the costumes. I like the look of the bones, the everything. So we have May. Wait, hold on. Just we're communicating. May Celine is working on attuning
Yep.
with a help action.
No. They're just gonna.
So-
they're gonna. Because nobody else is doing it. So May's gonna roll the dice.
Okay, well then I will like to help attune with May. Then I will help. I will add a dice to May to help attune.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So now everybody's going to pick up the die that they're using. Again, everybody starts with one dice. And I'm saying that backwards. Everybody starts with one die. That's for Dave Olsher. Let's get the terminology right. One die. And if your animal ability or adjective on your character sheet plays into what you're doing, like Louis was strong, but Louis helping, so he just passes a die. You add a second dice, and if you are using an item, you can add a third one, or you can always draw a card from the deck of Eldritch Ways to get a die that way. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you now, if nobody draws a card this turn, I'm going to make somebody draw a card the next turn.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the GM, but we actually have
That's
to.
fine.
We got to show the players how that works. So,
Yes.
all right. So it looks like May's
If I'm
holding
helping, can I draw a card?
No.
Or is that just helping?
only if you're
All
rolling.
right.
It's giving you a die. So, all
Thank
right.
you.
So May's got some dice. Cubby's got some dice in hand. Paulo looks like he's got 3 dice. Shoshi, how many dice are you rolling?
I think I can find a way to make it 3. Let me think.
Yeah.
Yes. So I've worn my silken robes, fancy silken robes, as I want to do, and silk can actually be used as a net. So I'm going to use it to help it to catch the fireflies. Use
All
it
right.
as a net.
All right. Using your robes to catch fireflies. I will be interesting to see how that works out in the narration. I feel like I know your character. I feel like she's a lady I knew in Oregon when we lived out there, and I love it. But I could see this lady trying to catch fireflies in her silken robes.
Misty is definitely
Yes. Yeah, one of those. And when that wouldn't work, just rip them off and start trying to
Yeah.
catch the fireflies.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to put ideas in your head. I'm not the dungeon master. You all get to do what you want to do. Okay, so everybody's got their dice to roll.
Fire.
Go ahead and roll your dice.
Well, I was saying, as a friend of death, I will find skulls that are, and I would like to draw a card.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
So let's do Cubby's card, a queen. So we check the mandates of the
I would
woods.
also like to draw a card.
Oh, you also want to draw a card to get to 3?
Whoa!
Okay.
Oh no!
All right. So Cubby, this is your mandate from the gods. Queen is moon. Howl loudly so all may hear your devotion to the gods. remove 1 gloam token from the gloaming pool, and add 1 token to the heretic pool.
Ooh.
So, you can choose to do this, or you can choose not to. If you choose at this point not to, you take 1 point of heresy and do not get the bonus die from the card. If you choose to do this, you get the bonus die.
Well, obviously I can't, because that means we're attacked by...
You're attacked by the wild animals, yes. Yeah.
We are.
Yeah,
Fine.
so I have to take a point of heresy. Ah!
And stay quiet. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so you don't get the bonus die, unfortunately, Cubby.
Wow.
Paulo was,
That was fun though. Like it like I want to try something, but then the card kind of pushes it one way or the other. Interesting.
Yeah. So Paulo, an 8 is water. Your mandate from the gods is we all drink from the same stream. You may not attack anything for the rest of the scene. If you do, you will gain 2 heresy. So again, you can choose right up front to reject that and say, gods, I'm not going to do what you're asking me to do, and take a point of heresy. You won't get the die, but if you take the die and then do have to attack something in round 3, you'll take 2 points of heresy.
Understood.
Yeah. All right.
I'm taking the die.
Taking the die. All right. So I know some people already rolled the die. Everybody else, if you haven't rolled the die, roll your dice. I just heard the clacks of the dice rolling. Louis, you don't get to roll any die.
No die.
You just passed it over.
I'll just go clack, clack, clack.
Clack, clack, clack. All right. Has everybody rolled their dice at this point?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Did anybody get a 6?
Yeah.
I
Ooh,
got
look
2
at that.
6s.
Oh,
Oh!
awesome. Okay. So May got 2 6s. Cubby got a 6.
I got 2 6s.
I got a 6,
Oh.
which
Sorry.
I'm choosing to turn into 3 6s.
Oh, from your Reaper ability of something vicious. Yes.
Oh, is that only when it's done something vicious?
Or
When performing
Oh,
a violent action.
That's right. Okay, so it's 1 6.
Okay, all right. I mean, if you do this violently, you can turn it into 3 6s.
No, I'm too kerfuddled.
Okay, all right, okay. And Shoshi also got 2 6s?
I did.
Okay, so let me put those tokens there just so I don't forget about them.
And when we're playing as a group without the dungeon master, we're just kind of whoever currently has the book is the one moving the tokens, and kind of everybody's double
Yeah,
checking
anybody at
together.
the table, because you should play with a pile of tokens. Anybody at the table, like
Yeah.
Shoshi could choose, oh, I got 2 6s and slide them. And that's not considered rude. You
I
can,
see.
it's
Okay.
whatever works for your group. So you can let the person reading slide tokens around. And some groups may want to do that because that's the person with the rules right in front of them. Other people
Yeah.
may, sometimes you get players that are kind of flustered about reading. And it is in the rules that if you don't want to read, you can always just pass the book. Like, nobody's forced to read out loud to the other people at the table. Some people I find are like, I've got enough to follow with the page here, so I want somebody else to move the tokens on my turn. That's totally cool. It's
Okay.
your game. You're playing it how you want. But, okay,
Beautiful.
so that's finished Fireflies. May, you got 2 on attuning to the god as well?
Yep.
Okay. Cubby got 1 on, what were you working on, Cubby?
I was working on the costume.
On costumes. And Paula was working on costumes too. Paula, did you get any success?
I got 2 5s.
All right. Okay. Are you going to take a double on that?
I am.
Okay, and finish. So in 1 round, you all just completed the Fireflies and the costumes, and May's almost done attuning to this god. All right. So
Oh my
you all are in great shape. May raised her dice first with the 2 6s, so we'll let May start the narration here. May, you just describe what you did and how you succeeded so awesome there.
Okay, so Celine obviously wants to make an offering to this god. So she is going to take her poisonous dagger since it's the only thing she has. Joke's on y'all. The poison is her own venom. And she's going to slice her hand open to offer blood to the altar, to the god, while speaking in tongues, literally with her little like going out.
Love it. And then around counterclockwise to your right. So that would be Louis.
Hurdy at the singing coming in, helping Celine. The singing coming in starts to open up its wings, beetle wings, and start flapping in a rhythmic sort of lo-fi beat to match the Celine snake singing.
Wonderful. And then around to Paulo.
Do we want, since I'm taking some damages, do we want to do Jessup first? Since
We
we're
can do
working on the
Jessup
same
first.
thing?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, you can toss it around however you want. He just tossed it
It's
to
our
you,
game.
Jessup. Yeah.
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 Jessup closes his eyes and starts feeling where the most dramatic creatures have died, the ones who would most enjoy parading around town endlessly. And when I hear them call, I grab them and I chuck them to Otho.
All right.
Oh, I love this. Very well. So, I'm going to get all these things with my little otter hands, and then I'm going to break them up with my my axe, and then what ends up happening is I do actually slice myself really badly. I'm going to take a body point with by. I just wanted it to work out so well, and I just needed to have that bone break. I needed both so that because the eyes, that spine, I just wanted it to be little goggles, and I just was whacking it and then cut myself, and then but I'm fine. I'm okay. It's all right. I'm not dead. And then I ended up using my clamshell purse, which is, I guess it was full of pearls from all those oysters, river oysters, I guess, because the decorations had to be with the flowers from Celine, and yeah, so I had to end up destroying my clamshell purse to make these costumes, and also slice myself wide open with my freaking razor sharp axe.
Yes. Yes, and you did that. He did that because he had gotten double fives as his highest die, so you can count that as 2 costly successes, but a costly success always has 1 consequence. So by taking the 2 successes, he also had to take the 2 consequences. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. And
one of them was a body. One of them was a body damage.
Yep. One of them was
Yeah.
body damage, and
Body
one of them was
consequence.
breaking his stuff. And
Right.
Shoshi,
Oh, man.
with your 2 6s on getting fireflies.
Well, it turns out my silken robes are ideal for gathering fireflies, but not in the way I thought. I thought, I did the net catching thing for a while. I realized that wasn't working. So instead, I just laid the silk robes out and was very patient. And they eventually landed on the silken robes, and then I was able just to scoop them up.
Oh,
Wonderful.
just sweetly scoop them up.
So peaceful.
All right. And that was only round 2. So you still have one more round 3. Now, you could choose at this point, because you have found a god, you don't know the god's tenet, and you have completed your 2 very important tasks, you could choose to say, whoa, we don't want a round 3, we're going back to the village with what we've got. And that's allowed, okay? But you do have round 3. You could attune to this god, get that one last point to find out what the god's going to demand of your village, like what's the god's rule that your new religion is going to have to follow. And you could also use this round to do more on the wedding gifts or the garbage, which could give you a bonus there. So it's up to you all playing this game whether you want to go ahead and do round 3 or you want to head back now with what you've got.
If we do the tasks that are in the village, does that mean we're using the NPCs?
No,
we're doing it.
You're doing them out in the woods now. You're bringing stuff back for them.
Gotcha.
You will not get a chance.
Do the third round.
Do what? Do you want to go for the 3rd round?
I say we do a 3rd round.
I say we go for the 3rd round and, hopefully try and finish attuning to the god so we can have a god that's attuned.
Right.
And make sure we're not bringing back some shenanigans.
Right.
Yeah.
Because there are shenanigans in there that you may decide, we don't want that for our god. All of them are totally
And we'll
workable.
discover when we.
Yeah. Yeah. All
When
right.
we discover the tenant, we'll know if it's shenanigans or not.
You'll know if it's shenanigans or not. Yeah. So, all right. So this would be round 3. Go ahead around the circle and say what you're gonna do. Then we'll pick up the dice, roll them, and evaluate.
Still snake tonguing, talking in tongues,
Yep.
tuning to the god.
All right.
That's a new saying, you know, just snake tonguing.
Just snake
Yep.
tonguing.
Yep.
In the woodlands, the snake handles you.
Yes. Yes. And mechanically speaking, as the game designer, I'm going to point out here that even there's only one more point that can go on a tuning, may could fail. So other people may want to help attune by rolling their own dice or passing dice, so that if May fails, it's not like, oh, we all should have helped on that. Too late. You lost. Okay, so who wants to do?
With that in mind,
I will keep
I
the
am
beat
going
going.
to fly to the top of a tree and get the best leaf with my sickle for a wedding gift.
Okay, all right. Cubby's going on wedding gift. May's going on a tuning. Louis, you're also going on a tuning. Are you going to roll the dice?
I'm gonna give a help to Celine. The same thing. Keep that bonus dice going. It seemed to help last turn.
Okay, so you're going to pass a die. Okay, Paulo.
So we've got Celine. You're rolling 3 dice to attune, right? And because with Louis' help, with Purdy's help.
It will probably do 3 dice if I slit my other hand. More blood.
There you go.
I was like, I have some blood. Are we doing blood? Like,
Yeah.
here.
Blood.
Is it blood time?
Is it blood time? Because I'm
Yeah.
in.
Yes,
So
blood time.
I'll
are
come over
involved.
and I'm not, I'm an otter. I'm distractingly fun. So I'm gonna try to do a little dance and drop some of my blood on our new altar here. So
All right.
yeah.
And that leaves Shoshi.
I will help Jessup with the costumes. Oh, wait,
I have
the
3
cost-
dice though.
Oh, you already have 3 dice. Well, then what's left? 'Cause
Garbage.
They both have
The
3
the
dice.
garbage.
The
Garbage.
garbage.
Well,
I know it's below you. I know, Misty.
I'm so sorry. You're left with the trash.
this is gonna be, and you know what? I'm going to rally. I'm going to be able to do this. I can do, yes, I can do this. And you know what? I'm going to use my robes to help me again. I am going to fashion them so that they cover my face, so that I'm not completely destroyed by the smell of the garbage, which I'm of course very unused to. And so that will give me 2 die. And then I think also I will use my leave no trace ability to make sure that no scavengers come out while I am silently moving this garbage to
Yes.
another location.
Yeah. Right. And the garbage in this case, since y'all are out in the woods, it could be all the stuff that you all have broken here and left around. I mean, that's enough to clean up your own traces. Will help towards this. All right, so everybody knows what they're doing. Does everybody know what dice they are rolling? You can go ahead and roll your dice. Louis not rolling any. Did anybody want to take a card before anybody rolls dice? I think everybody, it sounded like everybody kind of had it.
I think I got.
I already had 3, so I can't pull a card, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay, never mind.
Yep. Shoshi, was that a you want to take a card? Or you think
Oh
you've
no,
got it?
I'm already at 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. All right, roll your dice. Cubby's looking for his on the floor.
Finally.
All right. Did anybody get a 6? Paulo got a 6.
Nice.
1 6. Paulo, what were you working on? A tuning?
I was attuning
All right.
using my blood and my axe and my distractingly fun dance.
Yes. All right. Did anybody get a 3, 4, or 5 as their highest die? All right. Okay, I was like, did anybody get a 1 or a 2 as their highest die and totally fail? Is that Cubby? Cubby, what'd you get?
I got a 4.
Great.
4. Okay. All right. Okay. We'll start with Paulo. Paulo, with your 6, describe what you have done to attune to the god.
I say a little prayer, and I hope that my blood is enough to. So I literally am using my axe, and I'm just gonna like just as much as I tried to stomp the bleeding before, I'm just gonna open it back up and put my little paw print everywhere on those bones to be like, yeah, that's what that looks like, and then do a little distractingly fun dance.
All right. And Shoshi, you completed the garbage task. So
Nice.
Yes, but with a consequence.
with a consequence. Okay, so what happens here?
Well, I think my clothes have been ruined. There's nothing I can do about it. Carting all that garbage. It's fine. I have other clothes. These were my favorite, but it's fine. Fine.
All
I
right.
can embroider some new ones.
And Cubby, you completed the wedding presents task.
Yes, I did fly up to the very top of the tree and found the prettiest leaf in the entire dang forest. And I did slice it off with my sickle, and it looked awesome, but I did too much of a twirly move. And when I landed, I vomited. I was sick, and I took a point of body.
I took a point of body. Okay. All right. And May?
So obviously I'm still doing it, and I'm successful in my offerings, but I cut a little too deep on that hand, and that was an owie. So she'll eventually start looking for wounds, like wound healing herbs to pack into that, and now she's down to one working hand.
All right. So you did uncover the tenet of the small god. So we managed to attune to this small god. Let's see what it will demand from its worshippers. Flip over the face-down card and consult the tenets of the Woodland Gods chart in the back of the book. Read the tenet aloud. So that card that I set aside was a 5.
All right.
And that tenet is 5 for fire. Spread my word and ways like wildfire. Conquer those who oppose you and bring them into the fold.
So what they're saying is burn it all down. Like, I'm trying to.
Yeah, that your cult, your religion needs to spread like wildfire and become dominant.
Okay.
So
All
your
right.
your god of the void.
So
Is
so
a-
we're 15. So wait. So we're like 1600s Catholics.
There you go. And as far as tenets go, this one's pretty good. I mean, I think they're all pretty good. I wrote them, but you're not having to sacrifice anybody every stave. You're not having to. There's ones in here about write nothing down. There's ones in here about having to randomly move through the woods. That's why there's a little random thing up there. So there's ones that could really hurt you. This one's just basically saying you got to beat up the heretics, guys. Which
We wanted to anyway, right?
right.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
in
I
the
was kind
end,
of hoping we would.
Yeah. All
this
right.
god is just compelling us to do that. Like, there's no other choice at this point.
Right.
We can't have a picnic before we do that.
Right. So
Unless it's a
Now, will you-
sacrificial picnic.
Tell me again, not an official one. We can still have a side picnic.
right.
There's always time for side picnic.
Now, if we were playing actually at a table, you all could say, "Oh no, we don't want to do that. Let's take a break and come back next game and go to a new location." We're just going to say, hey, we've been recording for an hour and a half. We're going to take this one and end the game and go back to the village. So, yeah, sound good? Take this
Village!
one. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So there is another community
Success.
phase at the end. Normally we would pass the book. But you all succeeded at your tasks. Actually, every task you all succeeded at. Well done. So we pass the book. We'd write down the new god's tenet and their rune on our world sheet and our map. So we would write down the 5. Yes, thank you on that right there.
Oh, that.
And we pass the book, and the new speaker, that's me, would read the next page aloud. We have found a woodland god that will work for our village. Yay! We will return to our people as heroes. Now that we have a god, even a small one, we have a little more protection in the woods. And we add another gloaming token for that. Boom. Okay. Each of us may now automatically clear a damage condition on ourselves, but not on our stuff, as we get to rest after we return to the village. So you get a moment to rest, and that lets you heal that body, mind, or heart condition. Also, as a reward for acquiring a new god, I actually forgot about this part, we each get an Eldritch Blessing, which is a special power that the god gives us. Let me open those up so that I can read those. This is the ending thing here. Well, this is almost the ending thing. You're gonna have one more chance to interact with those NPCs, but we're gonna do your blessings.
Right.
Okay. So we will start with Shoshi because I feel bad for picking on Shoshi about her river runs through it thing earlier, and I felt bad about that the entire game. So I'm going to. I actually Shoshi's one of my most favorite people that I never get to see anymore. So here we go. Shoshi. So for every player would get to draw 2 cards, which are going to correspond to 2 different abilities that the god could grant you, and you get to pick which one you're going to take. So Shoshi, you got an ability of Clan. Once per session, you can lead your pact in prayer to remove 1 point of heresy from everybody. So out in the woods, you could lead a little prayer, and everybody would get to drop 1 heresy. Or a 5, fire. By snapping your fingers, you can create a spark in your palm to light things on fire. This grants you a +1 die as if it were an item, if it would help you in your actions. So if you need fire out in the woods, you can snap and do it. So you get to pick.
Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, you get to pick one of those.
Yeah.
You don't get them both. You get one.
It would be like a Molotov cock hand. Wait, no, that's
That doesn't.
I take it back.
Take that
Yeah,
back.
take that back, flip it, reverse.
Rewind.
Yeah.
I really like that first one that I can say a little prayer and remove some heresy.
All right.
Like
Yep.
her in her
Yep.
oeuvre.
So that would go on the blessing part of your character sheet, down at the
Cool.
bottom.
Right.
Next around
And sorry, so it's once per
session.
game?
Once per
Once per
session.
session.
So once per sitting down at the table to play. In every game I've played thus far, Stave 1 has taken a single session. But every group is different. So if your group takes 2 times sitting at the table because you only want to play for an hour or 2 hours together, or you really want to go see how many gods you can get before you're eaten by an Eldritch Beast, I'm not going to stop you. It's not my time. You already got the book. So you can have as many sessions as you want. But every game is only 3 staves long. This is a small game. You're going to tell a certain story to the end to see what happens to your village. And then the game's done. It's not like... You can play it again as many times as you want. I hope you do. But it's not like Dungeons & Dragons where this game is going to go on and on and on and on and on for years. And you're going to become gods. You can. Or whatnot. So... We'll keep going to the right. So we'll go to Cubby next, a 9 and a 10. 9 is tree. You may touch and hold a fellow animal folk for a few moments to transfer your life energy to them. They heal a condition, but you take one in return. So it's like passing life. Or dirt.
Yep.
Once per scene, you may sniff out and uncover something useful that was buried and forgotten about. Add 1 auto success on tasks involving finding something. So...
I don't know. Dirt. I like dirt. That sounds awesome.
And it works for being a vulture. So we talked a little bit before the game about how heresy works, and if you fill up all 3 points of heresy, you get smited. This blessing is the ability you would lose if you piss off your god enough that they smite you and you fill your heresy track. So you would not have that anymore until you were able to clear heresy, and you don't lose it forever. But all right, so May has a 3 and a queen. So 3 was Clan. That's the leading a prayer to heal, to clear heresy. Or queen is moon. You can see perfectly in the dark. Gain a bonus +1 die to any tests made at night or in dark conditions.
I want to have night vision.
There you go. You got night vision.
So, and what's the?
That is moon. That's the moon rune.
And you said that it was plus what?
+1. It gives you that extra die. All right. Louis, you got dirt, which is finding the hidden things, and you got 8. I don't think anybody's gotten 8 yet. Water, once per session, you may call a rainstorm down from the sky. This change of weather will last for the rest of the current scene. Any pack mate can gain a +1 die if the rain or water helps them with their task. So
I think Herdy would like to call the rains down in Forestica.
Yeah. So there you go. And
thank you.
Last but not least is Paulo. Let's see what Paulo gets. A king. Or Paulo, you don't have a choice. You get king, which is stars. You can see the tendrils of eldritch ways that flow through the woods. When drawing an eldritch ways card for a bonus die, you can draw 2 and pick the one you want.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah. So that's what happens. If you draw 2 of the same card, the god says, nope, you just got to take what I give you. But you got a pretty good one, because that takes off some of the risk there on the Eldritch Ways cards. Okay. Go ahead, May.
Oh, I didn't know if I missed it because I was reading through this.
Mm-hmm.
Did we talk about the new god's form yet?
Oh, we didn't.
It's blank. That's why I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah. So you all get to decide. This is your game. You found a god of the void, and you found it by creating this altar of bones and blood. So you kind of get to decide, what does your god look like? How does your god manifest? And knowing that its tenet is fire, that it wants you to spread, you can work that all in and kind of decide. Some groups say, oh, our god is the spirit of a bear or a dragon, and some groups have said our god is a whirling swarm of insects and trash. And void, you don't even have to know what it looks like. Like, maybe it's a voice inside your head.
It's a black mass of just...
I have an idea. What if it's an absence, and an act of devotion is to create an absence in our enemies by removing
things that make them live.
That just got deep.
Yeah.
Like their art.
Or like it could be a flaming skull.
Oh,
that would
that
work with fire.
Right.
I was going to suggest that we just make a whole Cthulhu to add insult to injury, so they think it's their god coming and they just get slaughtered.
Oh.
I was thinking more like Angel of Death, but with changing bones, so it's like it's every creature, and then with big giant flaming wings.
Yeah.
Because you gotta throw in the fire stuff,
So
I'd say we split the difference: flaming skull with flaming wings. But Shoshi, what were you saying?
Oh, I was gonna say, so you want it to be like Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
In
Ghost Rider.
Con
yes,
Air.
in Ghost Rider. That's what I'm like.
So
On a motorcycle with
flaming skull,
what a
flaming
motorcycle
wings.
is.
Yeah.
I like
On a
it.
motorcycle.
Like, yeah. So
And this heavy
random
feeling of
face
absence.
well, there's
And a
nothing
heavy
in the
feeling
skull.
of absence.
Right. There's nothing in the skull. It's just flames. All right. And
That's just living in the world.
right. There you
That's
go.
heavy feeling.
There you go. If you all did not know your new god's tenet and had just run back with the god you found, you'd flip over and learn the tenet at this point, and you'd be stuck with it. If you did complete the pact responsibility, and you did, these were the ones up at the top that you had to do. For doing that, you may all reduce your heresy by 1 point. So you did a good thing. Even though you had 2 tasks, that's because of the number of players. You don't get to drop it by 2 points. You just get to drop it by 1 point. For each of these down at the bottom, the village responsibilities that were completed, you get to add a point to the village pool.
Ooh, I love it.
Those go over there. You have definitely helped your village out this time. If you had failed those responsibilities, you would have removed a token from the village pool. and you could have killed your village right off the bat by not doing your job out in the woods. All right, so we now have one final closing community phase. This is our character's opportunity to meet with a villager again or create a new one to reflect on the matters facing our community, gain healing, repair items, remove heresy, or increase our gloaming. We cannot work on the unfinished village responsibilities, though, at this point. That's done. Y'all came back. Work time's over. So at this point, every player has an opportunity to visit one of the NPCs that we've created. If you are visiting an NPC for the second time, you will add a positive trait, belief, quirk, something positive about that character. The third time you visit an NPC that's already been created, you will add a negative. Players could also create another NPC at this point. Since we're running short on time, we're not going to create any new NPCs for our village. And in this final time, when you interact with the village, these are on your character sheet, you may interact with the village or to heal one of your damage conditions, repair one of your items. So let's say you went to the baker and said, oh, I need you to help me fix my axe. I don't know how you do that, but it's your game. You'd work it out. You can use it to reduce heresy. You do something together where you're doing some sort of good thing, worshiping, or you can gain more gloaming. So again, like we talked about at the beginning, you're working with a villager to complete a ritual or make disguises or hide your scents with the biscuits, however you want to do it. So who wants to go first? Who has the villager they would like to interact with? It does not have to be the one that you created, but it can be. Go for it, Cubby.
I'm going to talk to my old friend Mossy, who
Yes.
has an enormous handlebar mustache.
My father? You're talking
Your
to my
father has an enormous handlebar mustache
He
and a
does.
thick Scottish accent.
That's true.
And these are the positive things?
Well, the
Mustache.
mustaches. The
Yes.
accents are really just neutral. That's
Yes.
neither positive nor negative, but it is a beautiful mustache.
All right, so
It
I've
is
added
the
that.
highest you've ever seen.
All right. Enormous handlebar mustache and thick Scottish accent. Okay, and what happens? What Jessup and Mossy with the mustache hanging out doing what?
Well, I'm like, we gotta beef up our gloaming, and Mossy is like, oh, you need mustaches? I've got spares. And he gives us a bunch of fake mustaches that we can just toss on, and people be like, who's that? It looks like the party, but they all have mustaches?
Yeah, they're not of this forest. Let them be.
There you go.
Oh,
Wonderful.
yeah.
That's exactly how this works. All right. Who's next?
I got.
Oh,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Paulo.
Okay. I go back to my friend Thistle, the potter, who is a beaver person, and I explain to them how our god looks and how it looks different. Sometimes it's got different faces. It's got like a different face for everybody. With the flaming wings, skull, flaming wings, and he makes little votive candle holders that are the skull's flaming wings for everyone in the village. And you put a little candle in it. It's awesome. And here's the thing, because he's got a beaver tail, he can actually mold that clay twice as fast as anyone else. So he's actually an amazingly fast potter. So
All right.
hand.
So amazingly fast is his positive trait that you're adding to him, right?
Yes.
He's got this tail. And how did you use him to
that
help you?
adds to our gloaming pool.
You gonna add more
because
gloaming?
we're-
All right.
Yeah.
And this is not a bad idea because the second stave will see you traveling more through the woods, so you will remove more tokens. All right. So, but remember, this is also time you can use to heal damage on yourself. So, May, you had something earlier.
Well, I'm gonna go back to Bobby the bee,
Okay.
who seems to have bulked up a little bit from the amount of, a little stronger from the amount of forest hunting for herbs and flowers and all that fun stuff. But I'm selfish, and I am going to ask her to pretty please take a new robe. I mean, I have spare robes, but I want it dyed to be the same color and as my alchemist robes because they're all color coded.
All
So
right.
she needs just herbs using dyes. Boom, done.
Yes. Wonderful. So that you're using that to repair your robes.
Hmm.
And what is the positive here? Was it that they're bulked up?
Yeah, they got stronger, so
Boom.
they could lift more and carry more goodies and all that fun stuff.
Wonderful. And I don't know who that leaves. I got confused. So Shoshi and Louis. Okay, Shoshi.
So she.
So I'm going to visit a new person this time.
Okay.
So is this just to make sure this is also a time where I can repair like things in my stash? Right?
Yes. One thing.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna go to my sister, whose name is Matt,
Great.
and I'm gonna ask if I can borrow her silken robes because mine be sent off to the cleaners, and I can't possibly wear these stinky, dirty robes out.
All right. And since we're creating a new NPC, this would be a new card on the table. Matt is an alpaca folk as well.
Yes, Matt is an alpaca folk.
And what is Matt's profession?
Matt, she's just a couple years younger than me, and she is she's an apprentice to an artist in town. She wants to be an artist.
All right. All right. So that has been added. Matt, the alpaca folk sister, as an artist, and you're repairing your clothing that way.
Yes.
All right. And that leaves Louis. Louis.
Yeah, gonna go back to my dung beetle farming friend. And first of all, helped them out of a ditch that they fell in just while we were gone. It's classic dung beetle.
Right.
Just falling in a ditch.
Classic
Beetle
dung
on its back. You got to flip it over.
Yeah.
We're always helping each other out. Oh, thanks, mate. They might say.
They did
And
say.
then we're going to work together. We're going to work together to do some farming and fooding in our local area where I dig out and then they dig out, they bring some manure, dung, and then I bring down some rains to help do some farming so we don't have to travel as far afield to get some of our food resources. So the gloaming, we can be internal a little more.
All right. So you're adding gloaming or you're healing a condition or?
I'm going to add gloaming. I don't have anything here. I didn't take any damage or anything broken during that.
Can we add a point to the village?
You cannot. You only do that by completing an NPC or completing their tasks.
Gotcha.
All right.
So gloaming might be, yeah, we're just stacking up some gloaming right now, it looks like.
Y'all are
Next
gloamed
adventure.
out. You all are
We heard.
you all are totally safe from these eldritch beasts. All
Yeah.
right. So
We're gonna use all that gloaming to hide ourselves and then just spring our religion on every single hex.
there you go. And that's the end of stave 1 of our story. We found a new god for our village, acquired new abilities, helped our village recover and grow, but our work is not done yet. Our god is still weak and new. We will have to make it stronger and bind it more tightly to our village. But that, my fellow cultists, is a job for stave 2. Thank you all so much for playing and showing other people out there on the interwebs how to play. Folks, these 5 people are very near and dear to me. They are wonderful people. I'm going to let them end this show here by saying who they are, where you can find them out in the real world. Not that they're asking for stalkers. That's not the point here. But they all do fabulous, wonderful things. So thank you all so much for playing. It means a lot to me that you took a chance on this silly little weird game that I created. Thank you so much. We'll start with Shoshi, and we'll just go around the circle and end with Paulo. So thank you very much. Shoshi.
Hi, I'm Shoshi. You can find me on Nat 21 Adventures every Wednesday morning at 9:30 Pacific time, 12:30 Eastern time with Cubby, doing our crafting show. This was wonderful. Thank you so much, Robert. Say hi to your dogs from me.
I will.
Hi, I'm Cubby Outabelli, and you can catch me with Shoshi every Wednesday afternoon at 12:30 Eastern. Or I just started posting on this cool new website I found called twitter.com.
Thank you, Cubby.
Yeah.
Oh, on to May.
Sorry, I'm trying not to. Hey guys, I'm May Hemmer. Oh my gosh, I'm in a transition of jobs right now in my life. So you can catch me at the Carolina Renaissance Fair as part of the Royal Court, and part of Festival of Legends as their queen. And you can still see me on some burlesque stages, but not as much anymore since I'm focused on character work. But you can follow my shenanigans on Instagram, Facebook, and my website, which is mayhemmer.com.
And on to Louie.
I am Louie. You can find me at Level Up with Louie. My earpiece just fell out, and you can find my earpiece on the floor. Nope. Level Up with Louie. Come find me there, or I have a shop, Little Empire, at the Maryland Renaissance Festival, Arizona Renaissance Festival, and North Carolina Renaissance Festival. Robert, another fun, amazing way to do role playing. So enjoyable. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you. And Paulo.
And I'm Paulo Garbanzo, and most of the time you can catch me at various and sundry Renaissance festivals, from the Maryland Festival to Sherwood, Tennessee, and others in between. Also, I give tours to Europe with Ren Adventures, and we do, I'll say, normal tours, and we also do Dungeons and Dragons tours where we go play in the castle that I'm a jester of. So it's a ton of fun, and also Nat 21 Adventures, where we're all playing role-playing games all the time. So on Twitch, and then we're on YouTube as well. So that's my life.
Wonderful. I'll link down in the YouTube comments, notes, things, show notes on how you find all these folks. Thank you so much. We'll music insert here. Everybody wave and have a wonderful night, folks.
Thank you, Robert. You were awesome. This is a fantastic game.
Yeah, this is so